you're 6 feet away, okay? I'll put mine on when Scott puts his on. No. Not mine, but you.
Oh, I could probably show myself.
What's a DD debit sign in? Huh?
You're okay. Her screen is being shared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you're okay.
36 feet on mine. Hey, look at me. Oh. We're still trying to get in. Please hold the meeting for me. I'll be here. Well, still trying to get in. You cut off the password.
Right. Our chief and treasurer.
You don't need the agenda because you got it right here.
Okay.
$91 people going up. Hey.
I'm more worried about this one. 19 people.
Press ESC or double click.
I can see timber. You have a big mat. That's a big mask you got.
I've got a big face.
Timber, give me your normal line. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? That's what you always say.
Oh no, I lost.
We'll give everyone a second to get connected here. Alrighty. I know we're waiting for the agenda to load, but Madam Clerk, are we good to go other than that? Everyone else ready? Cool. Everyone good to go? All righty. Well, welcome today, everyone, to our Trenton City Council virtual meeting. We will be getting started here. Apologies for the delay. We had some technical difficulties in terms of getting everyone connected, signed in, getting our sound working and all that stuff, just to make sure that everyone could see and hear us. So generally important stuff. So we're going to begin today with the Pledge of Allegiance, but I'm going to ask that we all do a moment of silence after. We've actually unfortunately lost a couple Trenton folks just in the last few days. One being Gary Zook, retired DPW employee, passed away suddenly over the weekend, a former employee in our water department, and then also with the tragedy yesterday with the boating accident and the current search and recovery efforts for Mr. Rob Childs and Father Stephen Rooney of St. Joseph Church. So if you'd all join me in a moment of silence after the pledge, that would be fantastic. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you all very much, and we'll certainly keep all their families and loved ones in our thoughts and prayers. So we will call the meeting to order at 7:24 p.m. here. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Here. Here.
Present.
Here.
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 Here. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. All right, next on the agenda would be the minute approval for the August 3rd, 2020 meeting.
So moved.
It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered. Next up, we have public comment regarding items on today's agenda. Again, we will have another section of public comment at the end of the meeting. This comment is solely for items that are on today's agenda. Would ask that you please begin with your name and address, limit all questions to 5 minutes, and please direct all questions through me, the chair. You are able to raise your hand proverbially on the Zoom feature by clicking participants, and then on the bottom there should be a button that says raise hand. So if you're able to put your hand up, please do. I don't see any on my screen. Madam Clerk, do you see any?
No, I do not see any.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Clerk. So we have no comment for items on today's agenda. We will go down to appointments, commissions. The two appointments I have for us here are for the Historical Commission, Linda Murdoch, for a term expiring 8/1/23, and to the Recreation Commission for Anna Merkowitz for a term expiring 8/1/23.
So moved.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Benedetti,
Yes.
Cabawadden,
Yes.
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate,
Yes.
Perugi,
Yes.
Rezeppa,
Abstain.
Von Crooks.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rezeppa.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Next item on the agenda, I'll kick it right back over to you to our city clerk. Request to purchase additional tabulators for absentee counting board.
Thank you. Since the passing of Proposal 18-3 in November of 2018, no reason absentee voting has been growing tremendously. Now the COVID-19 pandemic has also affected the number of absentee voting. Our permanent absentee list is currently over 5,100 voters, and I expect the number to increase with the presidential election approaching. I am requesting that to be able to purchase 3 additional tabulators in the amount of $17,385. This would allow each precinct to have its own tabulator for the absentee voting, for processing the absentee ballots. And your consideration would be greatly appreciated.
So moved.
Support.
All right, it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered.
Thank you.
All right, next on the agenda, we've got 3 items from our city controller. So, Madam Controller, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay. So as you are aware, we did finalize our budget in May without a clear understanding of the impact of the COVID pandemic on revenue and expenditures. So once a month, I will cover any changes we become aware of. And if there are any budget amendments needed, I will bring them forth. The first thing that we were aware of since our last meeting, we were notified on August 4th that Solutia Eastman will be closing their doors in December 2020. I have provided a spreadsheet with each parcel with the help of John Dolclass, so there is some assessing information. And then in the red square, there is all the tax information. So they provide about $90,000 in taxes, which is spread amongst the general fund, library, and water. And the tax revenue will not change this fiscal year, and its future tax year will depend on what they do with the property. And John Dolclass will probably let us know when he is aware. In addition to tax revenue, Solutia does provide about $80,000 in water sale revenue. And then also $700,000 in an industrial charge because we process their water. This is likely to decrease from $700,000 to about $300,000. And the expenses for this fiscal year will probably decrease about $90,000. And then in the following year, the expenditures would decrease about $180,000. Not that I'm not worried about this, but as far as the water rate goes, our water rate is based on a 10-year model, and it should, pardon me, it's all based on working capital and covering our capital costs and to soften any type hits like this. So I'm not overly concerned about the water rate. So if you have any questions about that, or if you just want me to keep going, or.
Does anyone have any questions for the controller?
Okay, so the state of Michigan is going to have a consensus revenue estimating conference on August 24th, and I will bring you any estimate changes at the next, not the next council meeting, but the next time this is on the agenda in September. And currently, all departments are controlling their costs and applying for any grants when available. And that's it for that update, unless there are any questions. Okay, do I have to do anything?
I think it'd probably be appropriate to receive and place this on file if someone can
Thank
make
you.
Motion to receive and place on file.
it. It's been moved and supported. Any further discussion? Oh, Councilman Ferrucci.
Yes, on the previous item, were we supposed to do a roll call vote on that?
Oh, I'm sorry, it echoed on me there.
Previous item, the sheets for debit.
Mm-hmm.
Were we supposed to do a roll call vote on that?
Because we're like here, the reason we were doing, and Madam Clerk, I guess depending on if you're comfortable, we were just doing roll calls because of connectivity issues.
Okay.
So that if we're here, then we don't have to worry about it as much.
Since we're all in the same room.
All right. So we've got the motion on the floor, motion support. Any further discussion? Seeing none, unanimously so ordered. I'll let you continue on, Ms. Saul.
Okay, thank you very much. So the next item is for Senate Bill 680, which is a water assistance program that the state is offering through the Department of Health and Human Services, the governor's office, Eagle, and we have to either opt in or opt out of this program. And I'll explain just a little bit of what it does. They will provide $700 for both water and sewer fees on an account that is in arrearages for residential customers only, actively receiving food assistance program benefits, and a 25% discount on their water. But that discount, the 25% discount, is only available if there are enough grant funds to pay the city back for that discount. So that's an iffy probability. So if the city does opt into this, our requirements are that we do not shut off water for 90 days, which we don't shut off water anyways, that we forgive 25% of the bill if the grant revenue is available for that. We do not pursue any type of collection, and that we sign a data sharing agreement and participate in a data match process. So basically, we're going to send them some data. They're going to figure out who living in the city has a water account that's in arrearages and that they are also receiving food stamps. And then they're going to send us a check. Then we will notify the account holder that they've been, that they received this money upon their account. It is my recommendation that we opt in to this program.
So moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion?
Just,
Councilman Benedini?
Ms. Hall, do we have any idea how many people really, no? Okay.
You know what? I tried to call, I believe that it is illegal for anyone to tell me that. I tried to get the information out the schools, like maybe how many people receive reduced lunch, and she just said, Karen, that's not something that we're allowed to disclose at all. And I think that's why they're going through, I'm going to provide them the water information, they're going to in turn send me a check. You know what I mean? So they're not disclosing that list.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any further questions? Seeing none, just unanimously so ordered. Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Thank you. One more, and then I'll get out of your hair. It has been 2 years since our last actuarial evaluation was performed for the OPEB liability, which is our other post-employment benefits. We are required to do this twice a year per GASB. The valuation will provide our contribution for the city. The actuarial firm of Gabor Roeder Smith has provided the valuations in the past, as well as our valuations for our MERS pension plan and our police and fire pension. They have provided a quote of $17,500 to provide this service, which is the same as it was 2 years ago. The funding is available in the self-insurance fund. I respectfully request your consideration to forego the bidding process for this professional service and award the actuarial valuation to Gabor Roeder Smith and Company.
so moved.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you, Ms. Hall.
Thank you.
All right, next up on the agenda, we have our city engineer for a couple items.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is a request. The first item is a request to purchase sanitation truck. One's a Packer front
I think
loader.
you've got it the other way around, Bill.
Do I have it? I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. Request to increase commercial dumpster solid waste collection fees. The city currently charges $6 monthly per cubic yard of container space with a 2 cubic yard minimum. Additional pickups are charged $12 per cubic yard with a 2 cubic yard minimum of $24. This fee has been in place without an increase since 2010. This city charge rate equates to $1.50 per cubic yard for the collection, and it also includes the disposal costs at the Riverview landfill, which we pay $18.32 per ton. The disposal cost alone at the landfill based on the density of the material can range between $2.47 cents per yard to upwards of $4.94 cents per cubic yard. And that's all based on the weight of the material. And just think, the materials picked up at possibly an accounting office or doctor's office would be much lighter than some materials picked up at a commercial restaurant or other location. So that's why the weight would be quite different. To offset the compounding inflationary costs increase to the city and to at least recover the landfill disposal costs, the 2020-21 approved sanitation budget reflected an increase to the rates. So saying that, I apologize for not bringing this 2 months sooner because the new budget already reflected that this rate would be increased. Based on the attached rate comparison chart, it is my recommendation to increase the commercial collection charge for the first pickup to $10 monthly per cubic yard of container capacity and $15 per cubic yard for additional pickups. So if you look at that chart, it helps try to ascertain how we got to the rate. And again, the attempt to is at least offset the tipping fee at the landfill. And in just some cross comparisons, we have a couple private companies, actually 3 private companies that we were able to survey their cost. And our proposed city rate per month is still well below that private market rate. So your approval is respectfully appreciated.
So moved.
All right, it has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? All right, we'll go Councilwoman Crooks, then Councilwoman Cavalotton.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I'm just wondering, we don't charge churches, or we do? We do charge?
We do. If you look at the little timeline history, we kind of see how this has transpired over the years.
Mm-hmm.
Back in 2010, that was the first time this charge was actually allocated. And residential churches and schools were exempt. In 2012, there was adjustments made, but no change to the commercial rate. But at that point in time, churches were no longer exempt. Schools continued to be exempt. 2016, there was no changes. And then currently, schools remain exempt. Churches are charged.
Okay, why are we gonna, can we afford to keep the schools exempt? It's,
That's a good question.
because I remember years ago that they were exempt from water bills too. We weren't charging for water or something, or,
I'm not sure about that.
something to do with water, I remember years ago, but, or how we did it with them. But I am really thinking, I don't know how much the schools are going to use this year, being that they're not, going full force, but I don't know if we can afford to remain not charging the school system.
We've had some of those conversations internally.
You
asked that question too, exactly.
There's a lot of businesses. My thing is, there's a lot of businesses struggling right now.
Yep.
We've got a lot of empty storefronts, and I'm concerned with us giving away this service for free. I can't afford to do that anymore.
Sure. No, that's a very valid question. And I think that, as discussions with the school on a variety of different topics, we'll definitely keep you.
I think we just need to look into it and see how much it's really costing us to do the schools.
Absolutely.
And then bring it back and let us know.
Yeah. And Mr. Hogan said something you can get it in number 4. I don't know if we expect you to have it now, but sometime.
Yes, I do have it because it was contemplated. Again, based on the weight of that material, it could range between $13,000 and $26,000 a year in disposal costs alone. Based on the history, we have to discount the last few months.
Sure.
That would be the range.
Really look into this. We can't, with the cost of doing business anymore, there's certain things that might be eliminated, and I'm concerned about just giving our services.
Absolutely. No, thank you for that. And I can assure you we'll leave no stone unturned there.
Thank you.
Councilman Cavalotton and then Councilman Benedetti.
All right, Mr. Mayor, just for the record, I will be abstaining on this vote due to my employment status with a private company.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Benedetti.
So my question is, it goes along with timbers. They're exempt because we choose to, or because who makes them exempt? Us?
So correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hogan, but yeah, I believe that was from 2010. The city exempted residential dumpster pickup, churches, and then schools. And then in 2012, residential pickup and churches were added, but schools have remained exempt. That was all new to me too.
I think they've always been exempt.
Correct, yeah. I think, yeah. I do. So schools have always been exempt, but that is something that is our choice.
Okay.
Councilman Perugia.
So, you said you're gonna look into it. Where's the next step?
I have a conversation with school administration. We haven't talked to them about it at all, so I didn't want them to feel blindsided or anything like that yet.
I didn't know if it was internal first and then you went out to the school.
Sure. Yeah.
And what kind of turnaround time can we expect on this?
Scott, do you think you might have a?
Nelson, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Scott, do you have an estimate on that?
I don't know if you have. I don't know if you have a meeting scheduled yet.
No, do not. Yeah.
I would hope within the next month or two,
Okay.
as far as having something back to you.
Right. Understood.
So yeah, part of it was wanting to wait and see what things looked like for the school year too, and before, because there's probably going to be just some general operational changes that we have to do that of services we provide them or vice versa and things like that.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Pate.
And then just to add to that, they are going through a superintendent search, so I'm not sure who in that process you would talk to at this point. I think they have some interviews scheduled for late September.
Oh, okay. Good to know. I wasn't clear on that timeline, but yeah, it certainly hasn't made it easier to figure out how to deal with some of that stuff. Sure. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
You know what, can I go back to see, I don't remember who made the motion, second?
I think it was Rick and Wendy. Was I wrong?
Okay, thank you. Gabor Watton,
Abstain.
LaFever, Pate,
Yes.
Perugia,
Yes.
Roseppa,
Yes.
Von Crooks,
Yes.
Benedetti.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Roseppa.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. You're up, Mr. Hogan.
Right, thank you. I was so excited about new trucks. Please see the attached memo of a request and recommendation from Mr. Steve Mosseri. He's the motor vehicle pool supervisor. And also I have a caption from the current approved budget, which has our projected replacement cost plan, which identifies the sanitation and highway vehicles specifically. The first vehicle that we'd like to replace per this schedule and also the approved sanitation budget is what we call the Packer Commercial Front Loader Truck. This fleet consists of 3 vehicles. One's the primary vehicle that picks up all the commercial stops. We have a second vehicle, which is the backup to the primary, and it also provides the transfer station dumpster box replacements. And then the third vehicle is solely for the recycling and also at the transfer station. And as you see, it's getting very close to 20 years old. This primary vehicle services dumpster pickups for city facilities, Trenton schools, apartment and condo residential properties, and for fees, commercial properties and churches. A quote is attached from Bell Equipment Company, listing the specified features and some selected option. Their quote is the lowest qualified bid price with selected options based on the Sourcewell Cooperative National Bid Program contract. And the amount is $279,992. The delivery is anticipated within 3 months after receipt of the order. The highlights for this second vehicle are, well, it's an auto side loader. This is the vehicle you see daily in the residential areas picking up refuse. 2 daily route trucks, 1 seasonal yard waste truck, and then a rotated spare vehicle. And 2015 is when we bought essentially the fleet, all 3 trucks, and then we kept over the 2009 automated side loader. So the intention is to replace and sell the unit number 2047, the oldest one, and upon delivery of the new vehicle, maintain one of the 2015 vehicles as the working rotating vehicle. Again, it attaches a quote from McNillis listing the features and our specifications. And again, their quote is the lowest qualified bid price based on the Sourcewell Cooperative National Bid, and that amount is $272,374. Now, with this vehicle, the delivery time's quite lengthy. It could be upwards of 9 months, and we've also experienced longer build-out times for this vehicle. It's our recommendation and request to purchase these 2 vehicles, the 2020 Heil Mack chassis 40 cubic yard commercial front loader vehicle from Bell Equipment, as specified in the quote dated 8/5/2020 for the total cost of $279,992, and after delivery sell unit number 2055. Also requested is to purchase 1 2021 Peterbilt McNillis model 2848 Packer automated side loader as specified in their quote dated 8/5/2020 for the total cost of $272,374, and afterwards, after the delivery, sell unit 2047. Funds were approved in the budget and are available in the sanitation installment purchase account 101-528-922.004. In the best interest of the city for terms and interest, financing will either be through the respective manufacturer or through another commercial financial institution as directed by administration.
Thank you, Mr. Hogan. Do we have a motion? All right, we got a motion. We have support.
Support for discussion.
All right, support for discussion. So it's been moved and supported. We'll start with you, Councilwoman Chris.
Just a question. This is under the auspice that we're staying in the trash business. And also, did we plan this during the budget?
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Hogan, but both of these are budgeted.
That's what I thought we were. Do we want to refer this to a study session, or what do you think? A lot of money.
Personally, I'm okay with it. I'm in favor of it, but I guess it depends on the will of council here.
And we are planning on staying in the trash business.
That would be the idea.
Okay, good, because I'm in favor of that. So, all right, I just want to make sure everybody was on board and.
Sure. Thank you, Councilwoman Capellotti.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just for the point of discussion, I will be abstaining from this item as well, but I do have a question for Bill. You do have 2 different types of truck chassis here. You have a Peterbilt and you have a Heil. Would it make more sense in the future to move to one platform or the other as far as parts and repairs and such like that?
Well, the McNillis is part of our that type of vehicles fleet. So that's a uniformity there. And likewise with the commercial front loader, it's also identical to the last vehicle that we purchased and had very good success with both of them. but I understand your point.
That's all. But as far as I am abstaining from this, but I support if you're going to do the work, you need the equipment. So
Thank you,
thank you.
Councilman LaFever?
Okay, I wonder if we could ask Scott, who's in that business. Yeah, they recommend it. You have any experience in other companies?
Bill, I'm sorry, you were kind of garbled.
Do you have any experience with one of these companies?
Do I have experience with either truck? Yeah, I actually have experience with both vehicles. Heil, I mean, as a company, we run a ton of them, pardon the pun. Peterbilt the same way, both very dependable vehicles. In my line of work, we look to try to keep one line of vehicle out there, whether it's, Heil and Mack chassis or McNeely's and Peterbilt. We do have a mix of all because, as Bill alluded to, you do get a lot of downtime as far as build time. I'm sorry, the build times on these vehicles is like it's custom. I mean, we just bought a pumper or a fire engine for the fire department, and that's a custom vehicle. The build time on that was a lot quicker than a garbage truck, believe it or not. So, yeah, I mean, both products are good products. Bell's a good company. So no complaints. They're all solid.
Okay, Councilman Perucci?
I have a question for Mr. Hogan. Do you plan on asking for another truck next year
Yes.
and the year after?
Yeah, if you look at that schedule, there shows the programming of a replacement each year until those three are, you might say, reset for a life cycle.
And the sale of both of those 2055 and 2047, what are you expecting in return?
I have no idea at this point, Mr. Perucci. It usually goes by auction.
Right. So we don't even have a ballpark. I'm just curious.
I'd be afraid to throw out a number.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right, I'm all set. Thank you, Mr. Hogan.
Thank you, Councilman. Do we have any further discussion?
Councilman Von Crutch.
I just have a question for the city attorney. Does Mr. Cabo-Watton have to abstain from voting on this issue? I thought there was some kind of conflict of interest there, or is there not?
I'm going to speak. I think we discussed it earlier.
I can't hear you.
I believe that Mr. Cabo-Watton decided he was not he was abstaining.
But is there a conflict of interest there that he can't vote?
There's no conflict. Potential for he's chosen to abstain.
Okay, I just want to make sure that it was okay if he didn't vote. I want to make sure. So, thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Pate?
So I didn't find.
Wendy, can you unmute yourself?
Sorry. I don't think that I found all the accounts for budgeted, so this is a purchase that, because I see a line 39, 678 that was budgeted, so I'm not sure how that covers truck. And if that's the case, are we doing this in installment payments as we purchase trucks, like a 5-year plan? And is it worthwhile without knowing our budget analysis that Karen's going to give us late August, that maybe we buy one of the trucks, not both? Because one is obviously older than the other. I missed that other budget line.
Mr. Hogan, I'll let you take that.
I think I was getting the gist of the questions because it was breaking up, but I think it was related to what's budgeted, and what's shown in the sanitation budget is an installment purchase. 4 vehicles in the amount of $259,678. Just to give you a scenario, again, this would be fine-tuned with the assistance of the controller, or primarily the controller. I have somewhat financing scenarios of 5 years for the front loader at 3.5% interest, and a 3-year term with the side loader at that same interest, and that would take us to $154,000 per year. So that's well within, that's over $100,000 less than what we have in the budget for installment purchases, if that helps.
And then Ms. Salt, did you have something to piggyback on that?
Yes, no, not exactly on that. Can I just suggest that when the council is talking, that only one person be unmuted at a time? It's very hard to hear. So if everybody muted themselves and just one person at a time unmuted themselves, I think it would help with the feedback. It's echoing a lot, sorry.
That's good to know, thank you. Councilwoman, did you get your question from Mr. Hogan answered?
I guess I just need to study it a little bit more, and I would be okay with putting this in a study session and waiting a little bit on it.
So we have any further discussion? So the motion, I was muted still. So the motion we have right now is for approval. Do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Oh, roll call.
Oh, yes, I apologize. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
LaFever,
Yes.
Pate,
No.
Rugy,
No.
Rozeppa,
Yes.
Von Crooks,
Yes.
Benedetti,
Yes.
Cabawatan.
Abstain.
Motion carries, Mayor Rozeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you.
No,
That,
I'm sorry. Oh,
We need
excuse
we
me.
need 5 for
You know
that.
what? I am so sorry. You are right. The motion fails. We have a it's 4-2.
4-2, needed 5. Spend money.
You're right.
All right. Well,
So
thank
sorry.
you very much. No, that's okay. Next on the agenda, well, I guess first we should probably talk about what's next. Councilman Payne, Councilman Peruggi, sir.
I was a no vote with the understanding that we go to study session.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion to do that? Do you want to?
I'll make a motion to move it to a study session.
Okay.
I support.
Okay. Any further discussion? Do we want to start talking about dates for that next Monday night?
Not for me.
We can figure it out at a later date if that's okay with everyone.
Not next Monday.
Okay. We'll figure out a date in probably the very near future to get that hashed out then. All right, very good. So we've got the study session motion moved and supported. Is there any further discussion on that? Seeing none, unanimously so ordered. Thank you very much. Next up, we have Parks and Recreation. Ms. Gagne.
Thank you, Mayor. As we discussed in our budget meetings, the post-heat heat exchanger on the dehumidification unit, which services the practice arena, is in need of repair, and attached is the proposal that we received from Rowe Consulting, LLC, who services the units for us to perform the necessary work. The unit provides the sole source of heat to the practice arena, and the unit is original to the facility that was in the 2000 expansion and was custom built for the facility. And because of the custom unit, parts are not regularly manufactured and will need to be specially ordered. The attached quote provides the option to include a similar repair to the unit servicing the Feldman Arena. However, we are not recommending those improvements to the Feldman unit at this time, as that arena does have an alternate heat source. Consulting has been servicing the units at the Kennedy Recreation Center for the past several years and is the only authorized service vendor for this equipment in the area. The next closest authorized vendor is located in Minnesota. And based upon this information, I am requesting to waive normal bidding procedures and award the repair contract to Rowe Consulting LLC in the amount not to exceed $36,075. This is a budgeted item and funds are available in the building improvement account number 208-696-976.000. And your favorable consideration is appreciated.
I would so move. I would so move.
We need support. We need support.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. All right, it's been moved and supported. We'll start with Councilman LaFever, then Councilman Cabot.
When this quote is dated March 30th. That's like almost 5 months ago. Is there a reason to bring it forward any sooner?
Again, because we were closed and you know the contractors weren't performing that work, and this was our opportunity to bring it forward, and it was budgeted in this year's budget and not in last year's budget.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilman Cabot.
Joanne, this is for the ice arena. Are we actually running, or do we have ice out right now, or is?
Yeah, we do not currently have ice in our arenas. We are still under the executive order, which prohibits us from opening the ice arenas. Although once the governor gives us the okay, we will get up and running as quickly as possible.
Okay, and this is, as you mentioned, it sounds like this was a budgeted item?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
Great. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you very much, Joanne. Well, should take the next one too.
I am requesting approval to employ Carl Pate as a lifeguard for the Parks and Recreation Department. This is a part-time position, and per city charter, council approval is required as he is a relative of the current elected official, Councilwoman Wendy Pate. Your consideration is appreciated.
Let's so move.
And moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Pate,
Abstain.
Perugi,
Yes.
Rezepa,
Yes.
Von Cricks,
Yes.
Benedetti,
Yes.
Cabot,
Yes.
LaFever.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rezepa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Next up, we have late communications here. Mr. Church, I believe you have something for us.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Rezepa. As you indicated, before you tonight is a proposal to agree to engage special legal counsel for zoning and land use issues. Would be an approval to retain Carol Rosati for an amount not to exceed $15,000. And again, this is for special outside counsel to advise us on zoning and land use matters.
Support.
It has been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Councilman LaFever?
What is the time schedule on this study?
The time schedule, she indicated she hoped to have a report that she would be able to share with the council in closed session by our second meeting in September, would be her hope.
Great. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you very much, Mr. Church.
Thank you.
All right, next I will kick it over to our Mayor Pro Tem Benedetti for disbursements and statements and reports.
Make a motion to authorize disbursements for August 17th, 2020, amount of $463,208.27.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Make a motion to authorize the ACH transactions July 2020, $942,888.73.
Support.
Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Make a motion to receive and place on file the reports, the financial summary dated July 31st, 2020, schedule investments in cash on hand, dated July 31st, 2020. Historical Commission minutes, July 13th, 2020. Fire Department monthly report for July of 2020. Police Department monthly report for July of 2020.
Support. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Councilwoman Fade.
Yes, I would just like to say on the Historical Commission minutes, they have some very good ideas. And I just wanted to make sure I let them know that they should consider the things that they're thinking about. They sound fun. I'd like them to take that step forward and try some of these things that they have discussed. So just trying to give them some encouragement to do those things. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Councilwoman Fade. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. So it's weird hearing my echo and myself. Feels like I'm stumbling over my words. All right. So the only thing I have, just very briefly, for other council businesses, I wanted to give an update on our COVID-19 numbers. As of today's report, which showed us with one new case, we're at 211 positives for Trenton. And fortunately still are flat at the 9 fatality, which is even more important. So keep doing your best to do what we can to contain this and get through this. I wanted to make note that Mr. Hogan informed me on Friday that the West Road Drain Project is a couple weeks behind and is looking more like October 1st, is what the most recent word is we got from the county on that one. Which I know ideally it was going to be ready in time for school to start back up, so I guess it certainly could be worse, all things considered, but still frustrating nonetheless. And then lastly, I just do want to send my heartfelt condolences. I know we did the moment of silence at the beginning, but to the families of both Mr. Childs and Father Rooney and the horrible accident that happened over the weekend, but also the family of Mr. Zuck, who passed away just a couple days ago as well, after many, many years with the city. So that's all I have for this evening. So we'll get started here. This time, first is Councilman Benefitti.
Really not much tonight. I do have a question, and I don't know if it goes to you, Scott, Joanne, but so I noticed that a lot of days during the week, there is a big group at the rollerblade area on Marion, almost like they're running a camp, because I know that thing's closed. So my question is, and maybe even to Mr. Ackerman, if it's a private entity running a class, they would normally pay and have insurance and all that at the ice rink. But if they're doing it there, are they approved for it? Do they still have to do all those? Because if someone goes and gets hurt, or, you know, even the fact that there's 15, 20 kids in that little area, some man's up getting sick or something, are we liable because we're letting that happen? Do you know what I'm talking about, right there by the drain? The blacktop area that normally kids.
I apologize. I thought you were looking at Scott because I was
No, I'm just asking anybody.
No, I know
that
the area you're talking about.
2 or 3 of you, Joanne, you, Scott, or.
Yeah, Scott, do you have any idea, or Joanne, for that matter, if there's anyone that's formally running any kind of camp or practice there?
Mayor, I can let you know that we have not, I personally have not received any formal request to use the inline skate rink for any camps or anything of that nature. Obviously, the facilities are available for recreation, but as far as any kind of a formal camp, I have not received any request from anybody, but you know, certainly we can keep an eye on it and look and see if we you know, if there is a formal group utilizing the facility. But at this point, I have not received any request.
I can add that this is the first I've heard of it, so I certainly no request has come through administration.
I guess, I mean, Ms. Gagne knows most of the places that do that every year. So I guess if you can reach out to them, I mean, I don't see a problem with it, but just remember, we're trying to limit the interactions of a bunch of kids. And if there's 15, 20 kids over there and they're all in there, plus it's, if he's making money off of that, he paid for ice when he did it. yeah, I know it's open to the public, but, you know, we make them pay at the ice rink.
Rick,
I don't think
I'll
he's
reach
doing
out.
it for free.
Rick, I'll reach out to you if you give me a little bit more info regarding it, if you know the time of day or days that group is there. That would be
Okay.
helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. I have nothing else.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Faber.
A couple of things. One, I want to thank the mayor administration for doing the.
Oh, Bill, I think you need to unmute yourself.
Okay now? Thank you. I want to thank the mayor and the administration for that little 12 most asked questions about the McCall property. That was very informative. I get a lot of emails. I answered very few, I'm sorry, but I thought those questions you had in the 12 most asked questions were very informative. I hope people read those and keep them up. And I did go down and see the protest yesterday. It was about 85 people there. That was very well organized. There were some good people there speaking. And hopefully when we get the opinion back from the new attorneys, I'll give us some more information to judge what we want to do with that property. But thank you, Mayor, for doing that.
Thank you, Councilman. Is that all for tonight? Oh, cool. Thank you. Councilman Bruce?
I have nothing tonight.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Pate?
I just want to thank council. I know my son is elated. He has already been helping out at the pool over the summer, and he's ready to take the next step forward. And I'm thanking you for bringing for him tonight. So thank you. And that is all.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Capelot?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I mean, first of all, I'd like to, our family's thoughts and prayers are those going out to those that we've lost over the past couple of days in the boating accident, our former city employee. Congratulations again goes to Director Voss on his retirement. Had the opportunity to stop by there the other day for his retirement party. That was nice. It was a nice send off for him. Well deserved. Congratulations to those that are coming up for retirement. I understand we have one in public services that's coming up for retirement. I won't name any names, but I think that's happening like later this week. And again, Mayor and Scott, thank you for the initial FAQs sheet that you put together last week. Some helpful information in there. I look forward to seeing some more information here as we unturn those stones. On these on some of the issues that are coming up here and called into question. So thank you very much for the transparency and the information, and look forward to seeing some more. That's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman Brooks?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I likewise would like to give my condolence to all the families. It's been a tough weekend, and I'm very sorry for the families, very unexpected. They're all great people, so my condolences. And also, thank you for getting the word out on the GSC property. It's getting hundreds of emails, and I think if people could read those questions and answers, that they'll have more of an understanding of what's going on, because all the emails I'm getting are the same issues with not the correct facts. So I'm glad that the administration is going forward with the correct information, and so we can make a more informed decision on what to do. Believe it or not, I appreciate the emails because I know how people feel about this issue. There's a lot of people, really concerned. So like we all have, and we've all been working on for the last 7-8 years. So hopefully we can resolve some of these issues in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councilman. All right, next up, we will go to our other elected officials. We'll start with you, Madam Clerk.
I would like to just mention the next regular council meeting will be on Tuesday, September 8th. And that's it for me.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk. Our assessor is Mr. Dahlquist.
Mayor Rezeppa, I have nothing for you tonight. I hope you can hear me okay. Thank you.
Sure can. Thank you very much, Mr. Dahlquist. And then last, but certainly not least, Mr. McCullough, our treasurer.
Well, thank you very much. Just a friendly reminder to our residents and taxpayers is that the taxes are due August 31st. That's 2 weeks from today. So just want to give fair warning that taxes are due, and we appreciate your cooperation. If you haven't got a tax bill, please let us know, and we'll get one out right away. But they were sent out July 1st. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. McCullough. All right, so we will go on to our department heads. Are there any department heads wishing to speak?
Mayor, if I may, I'd like to let our residents know that the city loan closet, which is currently been shuttered over at the Westfield Center, we've been working on getting that service back up and running. And we have moved a selection of equipment to the Kennedy Recreation Center. And within, I would say, the next couple of weeks, that we will be ready to loan medical equipment again to residents. So we will make sure that we blast out, do an e-blast on social media and email, and also put something on the marquee. But if anybody is in need, please contact the recreation office and we will give them more information. But we will be loaning that equipment from the Kennedy Recreation Center.
Thank you very much, Ms. Gagne. Do we have any other department heads? All right, I don't see any. Not everyone at once, so, all right. We will go on to public comment now. So what we would do is you're gonna have to use the raise your hand feature on the bottom of your screen on Zoom. You click participants. It'll bring up another tab on the right where you can click raise hand on the bottom. So we would ask that you begin with your name and address. Please keep your comments to 5 minutes in length and direct all questions through me, the chair. So if you want to start using the raise hand feature for comment, I'd ask that you get in the virtual line to do so. Madam Clerk, do we have any hands?
I do not see any hands raised.
I'm trying.
Okay, Pat Bryan. Hi, Pat.
Hi, I couldn't find it. First, may God bless and keep our Father Rooney, and may God hold him in the palm of his hand. I timed this at under 4 minutes this time. Thank you, Mayor Zeppa, for the frequently asked questions document. Everyone needs to check out the 2-minute YouTube video called Rashida for Congress, Maddie Maroon. Here are a few excerpts from her interview, and I now quote, "He's a bully. He's always been a bully. I found out that he's building a second bridge without environmental clearances and without a permit. He thought he was above the law. He thought he didn't have to get the permits. He didn't have to go through the environmental processes. At a meeting, I asked, Mr. Maroon, can you please apply for permits? He says to me, Rashida, I don't come and tell you what to do in your backyard. I said, but Mr. Maroon, it is my backyard and I have to protect the public interest in the families that I represent. I question many of the comments from the Planning Commission and City Council about how much money it will cost Trenton if we keep the mixed use zoning. No amount of money can put a price on the health and well-being of downriver citizens. Falling property values and people selling their homes would be the least of the detriments that your vote for industrial use would create. Even we tree huggers aren't naive enough to know that McLeod will never be residential, but there's still plenty of ways that the property could be put to good mixed use without being zoned industrial, like offices, laboratories, greenhouses, and retail. But who knows what could happen if a third-party purchaser would get involved. When Crown Enterprises purchased the property from Wayne County as industrial in the purchase and development agreement, they knew it was mixed use when they bought it, but you supported it. I was there for all the meetings in 2005 when it was rezoned as mixed use. It's mixed use now. Your vote would change it. I included in this hand-delivered letter to the clerk's office at City Hall 4 pages of what the I-3 heavy industrial zone would encompass. Some of those things are terribly frightening. We had already shared them with City Council on November 27th, 2018 at Mayor Stack's request. MSC may or may not follow those guidelines. I know that you don't intentionally want to harm Trenton, but your yes vote will. It's not too late. As stated in the FAQ, City Council is the only body that can actually enact a zoning ordinance. Your hands are not tied. You hold the power. Your vote will turn Trenton into Delray, so don't use Volusia as a new excuse. You'll be responsible for the ruination of Trenton for generations to come. The fate of Downriver is in your hands. Your legacy and the history of Downriver will be as the ones who caused the downfall. It is your moral obligation and civic duty as elected official to represent the wishes of the residents of Trenton. Crown Enterprises is not one to be trusted. Mr. Mayor and City Council members, this is your backyard. I want to know each and every member's reason for the vote you cast. Shame on you if you turn your back on Trenton. Don't be surprised when election time comes around. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bryan. Do we have any other hands, Madam Clerk?
Yes, I do see last name Traster.
Mr. or Mrs. Traster? If you're trying to speak, you're on mute.
All right, I've unmuted myself. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. My name is Edie Traster with an E. I live at 2645 Riverside Drive, apartment 1113 in Trenton, Michigan. And my apartment overlooks McLeod, so I can see what's going on there from a distance. I want to make it really clear that I strongly urge the council to retain the mixed-use zoning for all the reasons that we've stated before, and I don't think I need to go into the details. I support what Pat Bryan had to say. And I'd like to know the name of the new attorney and what group she belongs to, please. Thank you.
Yes, the attorney that we are entering or voted to enter a contract with a few minutes ago is Carol Rosati. C-A-R-O-L, last name R-O-S-A-T-I. Is that correct, Mr. Church?
Yes, it is.
Thank you for your comments, Ms. Traster. Do we have anyone else, Madam Clerk?
Okay, next is Judy, and the last name is M-A-I-G-A.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for taking public comment again. I sent a letter earlier in the day. The signatures on the petition to vote no on this have now exceeded 4,382. Hundreds of people gathered yesterday in opposition to industrial waterfront rezoning. Years of prior research, studies, and discussion in the Michigan legislature have already determined that a shipping port on that site will be detrimental to downriver. It's not something that Trenton City Council needs to figure out on their own, and it's not something that Trenton City Council needs to prove to Maddie Maroon's family or Crown Enterprises. It's already been researched. It's already been proven. The entire Senate and legislature for the state of Michigan gathered and discussed it. They had experts look at the site and do investigations, and what they came out with was that the legislator expressed strong opposition to the plan for an intermodal transportation facility. The construction and operation of a facility would cause adverse impacts on the region and the Detroit River. Increased waterborne traffic, additional bridge openings that isolate those of us who live on Groseal, who can't get off during an emergency, additional rail and vehicular traffic that blocks streets isolating hospitals, and depriving Trenton and Riverview residents of emergency services. This question has already been looked at multiple times. I can't understand the confusion here. It's not a good thing. I understand the fear that's going on about you can't take away so many things that they can build or they're going to sue you. Yes, you can. You can say in 2002, we already looked at this. Intermodal shipping is not appropriate for this area. Come to us with something else. What else can you do? We want you to bring jobs. We want you to make money. We understand you spend a lot of money for this, but an intermodal shipping port is not going to work in Trenton. So what else do you have? Find a buyer, find a lessee, find somebody who wants to do anything else. 4,382 people are urging you not to do it. The Michigan legislature told you already that in prior studies that it's not a good idea. So it's baffling to me that it would even be considered. So once again, I'm asking you to take the time that it needs to come up with some out-of-the-box thinking, to have other people look at possible solutions, maybe someone to sit down between Crown and MSC and the city and talk about how the residents can be made happy, the neighboring cities can be made happy, and Crown can be made happy, so that we could all relax on this issue a little bit and know that it's being cleaned up, but we're also not going to have to sell our houses and leave the area, which is what people in your city are talking about doing. There's people on Facebook today who said, I wish they would decide, because if they're going to do this, I'm leaving. That's a terrible thing to have to consider. Again, I don't envy your position, but that's what people are talking about. So thank you for your time. Please consider these facts.
Thank you, Ms. Maiga. Next up, Madam Clerk.
Okay, next we have possibly last name Peak, P-E-K.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
we can.
Yes, my name is William Peak. I'm at 1731 Grange. I just wanted to let you know that I've been following the issue, and I'm in support of keeping use the way it is and not moving it back to an industrial area. That's really all I have. I just wanted to make sure my voice was heard on this. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peak. Do we have anyone else, Madam Clerk?
Yes, there is Amy Chappelle.
Okay.
Amy, if you can unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Oh, now I think you might be muted again. I believe you're still on mute, Mr. Bell. We had you for a second.
Can you
There
hear
she
me?
is.
Yep.
2207 Ashby is my address. I just wanted to add on to what was being said about, we already know that this is not good. We know that we should not have a deep sea port and all of these things. The one thing I wanted to add on to that is all of these statements are already in the TCRMP. And this is what most of you already have your names on. So I would urge everyone to make sure that they're completely apprised on what's in this document, especially what was just being referred to on pages 53 and 54. I know it's a long document, but it basically says that both the Michigan House of Representatives and later the Michigan Senate opposed the creation of this intermodal facility, finding the negative impacts on Trenton and the surrounding area too tremendous to ignore. When examining any potential new developments or uses for the former McLeod Steel site and surrounding properties, it would be wise to use this previous ruling as a guide. The conditions of the river have not drastically changed. The importance of the Detroit International Wildlife Refuge has only grown, and the significance of improving the Detroit River coastline has only captured increasing momentum since 2002. Exploring adaptive reuses and redevelopments that strengthen the vibrancy and value of the coastline would be much better suited for the city and aligns with the preferences of many residents. So I just urge everyone to go back, and everyone in the city and the surrounding areas, everyone who's affected by this, and read this document. It's on the City of Trenton website. It's the TCRMP, the Trenton Coast Resiliency Master Plan. And we need to start holding the names that are in this document accountable for what's in this document and what we have said that we would do. And like I said, I intend to look into this even further with the organizations that have been involved, and there has been money that's been granted to us. So I just wanted to make sure that, because it was such a good point, that I wanted to make sure that the point I made is that most of the names of the people who are on here and are voting are in this document with these statements. So we should really pay attention to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chabal. Madam Clerk, do we have any others?
Okay, I do not see any more hands raised.
All right, we'll give it just 5 more seconds. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Let me just go through and make sure.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Or any further discussion? Seeing none, unanimously so ordered. Thank you all for joining us. Take care. Have a good night, everyone. Be safe.
Good night.